all about the healing. What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? With my peeps, Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Cross Watcher. My day ones, my day twos, my day threes. My day ones, my day twos, my new news is what I meant to say. All right, y'all. This is the second time I'm doing this reading. Not doing any cards. This is a personal read. You know, I'm sharing a story. I guess a story time, as they would call it. But I'm very uncomfortable about sharing it because I know many people are watching me, and these are, when I share personal things about myself, they take that and run with it, and then I'm attacked for it. So that's why I really don't share much about me, but for some reason God wants me to share this story. I had already ran errands, went on about my business today, and God keeps telling me that I need to share this story. And it's to share the story because someone in the collective needs to hear it. And it's about, because the last one I did was long and drawn out. But if you guys want me to share that one, I will. Put in the comments, share the first story too. It's the same story, but it's long and drawn out. All right, I'm gonna try to make this short and to the point. So again, if you want me to share that first one, let me know. Anyway, so look, I'm talking to the collective who are seers, dreamers, who have a special calling on their life to help humanity. I'm talking to you specifically who have children, grown children. You can have teenagers, but specifically grown children. Okay. All right, so here we go. I am, as you know, a seer. I'm many things, but right now I'm talking about a seer, an energy worker. Can read energy, can see. All right. So let me stop because I will go long-winded again, but I'm trying to make this quick. So I want to talk to the seers. I want you to listen for a moment. The story sets out like this. I'm kicking it with my kids. I'm calling them kids, but they not kids. They full grown men, right? Talking to my grown men, my kids, and we just joking around, doing what we do. And my son says, "Mom, I'm going to visit my friend." He didn't tell me. See, my kids, my kids know. My kids know me, right? He knew to tell me at the last minute. He knew that. Well, he says, "Mom, I want to go and, I want to go visit my friend." And so in my head, I was like, okay. He's telling me at the last minute. All right, okay. So, and then because I'm standing there. He telling me and I'm standing there. I'm reading the energy, doing what I do. And so I'm talking to him. I'm asking him questions. And then I get to the question, well, okay. Because I'm about to turn around and go about my business so I can really assess the situation. And so I asked him, I said, well, how you going to get there? And when he says, how you going to get there? He says, I'm going to drive. immediately when he said I'm going to drive. Now, as I'm again, because the last reading I did, I start to see as well while I was talking. So let me give you this part. Prior to him telling me that, I was doing, when I in my daily reads for myself to read my energy, I kept getting this strange energy, and it kept saying, it kept saying, it kept giving me strange energy about an accident. It kept giving me like accident, right? Somebody was gonna have an accident, but it was somebody. It wasn't me. It was that my readings was telling me something about somebody else. And so I, when it do that, I it do what it do. I'm used to it. And so when he said that, he said, I'm going to visit. He said, I'm going to drive. I said, oh no. I immediately said, oh no. Right? I went into nurture mode and reflected back to the energy readings that I was having for myself. And I, pinpoint who the person was now. And it was him. And I went and told him, I said, nah, I've been getting done, when going on and on and on. But he's full grown. Full grown. And can make decisions for himself. Again, I'm going to put this out here. I don't know who this is for and why the guy has me telling you this story, because I really do not want to put this out here. Okay. All right. So, but I'm trying to do it quick this time, so it's not long-winded like it was last time with all the extra details. So, stay on point. Previously, I was doing personal readings for myself, personal energy reads for myself, and it kept screaming, kept the same energy, accident. So when he told me that, that's click. I said, oh no, right. And so he didn't want to hear it. See, if you have children, pinpoint back to children, grown children that is not awakened yet. They know about spirituality. They are introduced to spirituality through you. But they have not been awakened. They have not accepted their spiritual calling. I know in and out what his spiritual calling is, but he has not accepted it. He's not with it, right? So when he told me that, he already knew what time it was. He already knew he didn't know I was going to say no. He know about the accident thing, but he knew that I was going to say no. That because he knew that the car was not up to par. The stuff that we do things, we live life on the edge. We'll get there, it'll be all right. Everything will be fine. It ain't gonna be what you say it's gonna be. That kind of mess, right? When you get older and you get wiser, if things ain't right, then you stay at home. You could visit your friend later on when things is locked in tight. When you have all the funds and you have everything you need. Everything is good. Then you can go have a good time. Everything is everything. You don't need to go right now when willy-nilly and on you don't know what's what. You don't need to live life on the edge, but that's something that as you mature and as you grow, that is something that you learn. And then also too, we all have different we have different temperaments. See, some my one some of my kids would listen and heed the warning, where some of my kids will they willy-nilly. I'll take the chance. I want to, I'm tempted. I want to go get that, whatever I'm getting ready to go get. I'm chasing this. I'm about to get this. I'm about to do this. I want to do this. I want to do whatever I'm going to do. And I'm going to take this chance. I got both kind. I got one that's reasonable. Then I got another one that he got to go through that experience and bump his head and nearly hurt himself to a point that he can't get up out of something, for him to see things, for him to understand and understand and try to overstand some things for his life. See, I got that, and I understand that, and I get it, right? So, long story short, I'm trying to make it short and make sense. So he goes on. After I told him no, came down here, the ancestors talked to everything. Told him, came down, told him to make his own decision, whatever. Came down here to mind my own business. Drew cards because I was recording that day. None of the cards, they would not rest and let me record without me running them cards with him. Because when I got down, accident. I said, look at here. I can't even be about my own business and do stuff I'm supposed to be doing. Here you are. He just looks. You got the mama that right? He don't want to hear because I'm going against what he want to do, right? So he don't want to hear. But that goes along with what the enemy, what the ops want. The ops want you to go against what you being told and get you out there and get you vulnerable and unprotected. Right? But see, in the last reading, as I was talking, it came to my understanding that all of that was for me and for him. See, at that moment in time, when I drew those cards, and prior to him telling me, and then after he told me that, once I knew what was on the table and what was happening here, then I went and did a petition out to the ancestors, to God, to the angels, so they could go ahead of him prior to him even leaving the body here. Every road that he took, every way he went, they had already paved the road out. They had already protected him. That was for me. In that last reading, that was for me. That's why when I came back in my office, all I was reading was him until they finally, I showed him, and then after that I finally just let it go. But what I will say is, for us who can see, we're their eyes and their ears. We see for them. We pave the road. Our words, our prayers of protection goes out ahead of them. Now, he still had the accident on the way back. But see, that accident that he had was supposed to be worse than what it was. Yeah, he went in the ditch, and he had to pay money to get his car out the ditch. But that's because he was hard-headed. But what was meant for him on that road didn't happen, because I prayed before he even hit that road. I petitioned the ancestors on his behalf to get out there on that road. He thought he was in the free and clear, that mama didn't know what she was talking about. But on that road back, in the middle of the night, he had to tell mama what happened. He had to tell me that he had an accident. So, what I'm saying, and why because we as gifted people, our children go through something as well. Put that aside for a moment. But they have to live with a parent or live with parents that are gifted, that can see every little thing they doing. They can't lie. They can't try to cheat. They can't try to, you see everything they doing. When they're in danger, when stuff, they can't hit you and they trying to hit them, you can see it too. You can pick it up too. And you are their buffer. You are their buffer. Because if they can't get you, they can't take you out. They try to come to the weakest link. And you're their eyes, their ears. You're their everything to keep them safe. Whether they want to own up to it or not. That's what you're here for. Until they can do it for themselves, then you it. But God says, under no circumstances are you to worry or fret or to have sleepless nights over your children, because that's not what this is about. It's about when God shows you, when you're able to see your children and they're in danger, it's for you to be that buffer. It's for you to lay out that foundation of protection. It's for you to call out to the ethers. It's for you to pray and intercede on their behalf to keep them safe, because they just don't know what you know. They just can't hear what you hear. And you have some children that are receptive, and you have some that just not there yet. And so what you do, you tell them, you teach them, but if they don't get it, then you have to stand in the gap, because they're ignorant to the forces that are out there that's trying to grab at them and trying to get them and come at them and trying to hurt them. They don't get it. They don't see things the way you see it. They can't hear things the way you hear it. And so when you're speaking, the language that you're speaking is foreign. They hear what you're saying, but they can't really accept it, because to them it's just like the ops. It's just like it's just like having, okay, God said karmic. It's just like having a karmic friend or a karmic lover. They didn't never believe nothing you was talking about. What you talking about? That ain't gonna happen. That don't have. Everything don't have to be negative. That's negative. Why are you so negative? Everything is negative. You see things from a negative perspective. Everything's negative. Everything ain't got to be like that. And life tore up to the floor up. Everything that they doing, every outcome that they have is negative. But when you try to speak to them and try to tell them about their life and where they're headed and what's going on, they need to turn and do something different. They need to do that. They need to leave that alone. They don't want to listen. They don't want to listen into things is bam, 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 and stuff is taken away from them, and everything is tore up, and everything, their finances is broken. They broke, busted, and disgusted. And they forced to have to look at themselves and look at their situation and do something about it. Then they ready to listen. But in the interim, what God is saying and why I have to tell this story is because we as gifted people have to see things from their perspective. We ain't always been we've always been gifted, but we ain't always been awakened. We ain't always been spiritual. We ain't always knew the answers. We had to experience these things. And no matter how hard we want to teach them, want them to see it, want them to get it, we got to allow them to bump their head, snub their toe, bump their head, fall, slip and fall, hurt themselves, break some bones. We got to allow them to do that thing so they can learn and see things for themselves. And yes, if you're a mother and you're a nurturer, it's unfortunate. Because a mother that's a nurturer, they don't want their babies to suffer. They don't want their babies to go through, but baby, I ain't the mother I used to be. The mother I used to be, he would have been at home. He wouldn't have been able to make no decision. He would have been at home. You either stay at home or don't come back here, because I'm not getting ready to go through all of that. That's where taking his free will away from him. No, we can't do that. We got to allow them to bump their head. And then I will be like that because I don't want him to bump his head. I don't want him to hurt it. I don't want him to be in an accident. I don't know how bad the accident gonna be. I can't control that. We cannot be controlling. We have to let them bump their head. And when they bump their head, the only thing we can do is assist them. Because when they bump their head, we can't go into that full nurturing mode and take over and make everything nice and comfy for them. They got to bump their head. They got to feel that thing. You got to feel that thing. So you can get some inner standing in you. And we can help you understand what's really going on with you and your life and the choices that you're making for your life. And so, we as gifted people, nobody talks about this. Gifted people with children. Gifted people with children that the ops are constantly attacking. Constantly attacking our children. When they're younger, it's a little bit more easier because you have more control over. But when they get grown, oh no. The enemy, the ops, have the control. Because there's so much stuff out there. There's so much temptation. There's so much stuff that they can get into that can take them right on over there to the op and put them right there. Give them the ops all type of permission and control over their life, and then come to you to help them clean it up afterwards. After they ain't got themselves deep down in some mess. But that's what we here for. We don't tell them that. We go back behind the scenes and set some things straight behind the scenes. What you not gonna do with this one? What you not gonna do with that one? What you not gonna do with that one? Now, what you do with out there, that's your business. But you set some things straight, and you let the enemy know right off the cuff. You let the enemy know right from the jump street, not this one, and that one. No, sir, no, ma'am. Not that one. Not that one, and not that one. And definitely not the two little ones. Definitely not them. So you got to go back behind to set some things straight. And so it's not worry, it's not fret, it's not sleepless nights, because the enemy has control over them, but you have the ultimate control, because they are part of your bloodline. They are your children and your children's children and your children's children's children. They are the bloodline. And as you work doing the bloodline, as you work protecting the bloodline, as you do the work, you're protecting them. They are a part of the bloodline. They are a part of you. They have your blood. They are royalty. And depending on where you are in the spiritual realm, if you high up in the spiritual realm, you can even go even further than that and set bodyguards on them. Because if you royalty, just like you're protected, they're protected. If you the queen and king in good standing, then you ask God, the angels, to protect them just like they protecting you. It's things that you do for your grown children that's not awakened. But you got to do it from behind the scenes. You got to let them have control, and you have to let them over their life, and you got to let them have free will to be able to bump their head and make those mistakes. So in the interim, he had the accident, like I said, saw it, didn't know what type of accident it was meant to be a harsh accident. But I had already, when I seen it and he gone, I had already paved the way to set out protection ahead of him. And for you that's on this channel and watching this, and you have grown children that's not awakened and don't know what you're talking about and don't have the faith that you have, they just willy-nilly out there being tempted and being pulled out there. They don't have it and they don't see it like you. But that's why they got you. You're there to pave the way until they're awakened to do it for themselves. Not to worry, not to be crying and up all night and worried about your kids. No, that's not what you for. You got other things that you got to do. They are part of your bloodline. That's the work that you're doing for your bloodline. Your children are included in that. You are a generational curse breaker, and they are included in that curse breaking. And so with that, so I won't make this too long, I'm going to leave it there, and I hope you grasp it and you got what I was trying to say. Is that our children that's not awake, and they're going to make many, many mistakes. They're going to bump their head, but they got to. That's the only way they're going to learn. Looking at you, seeing your example is not good enough. They got to go out there and make those mistakes that you made. They got to get out there and get cornered. They got to get out there and be made a fool out of. They got to get out there and folks run game and take their money and make a fool out of them, and all kinds of stuff. Break their heart. They got to go through all of that because they don't want to listen. So they want to experience that thing for themselves, so you have to let them. And that's for somebody. So don't say I don't never do nothing for you, because I'm telling you, this, if you still here, you just need to know that I don't get on here telling no, because I have too many people that is watching me, hating and plotting to get on here to give you any of what I do or what's going on with me. But this is something that already happened, and I'm just telling the story because God wants me to tell it. It's somebody that's going through something. God says somebody is going through something, and you need to hear this story so you can stop worrying about your children, your grown children, and let them make those mistakes. Only thing God wants you to do is pray and set out that attention ahead, that when it comes to that point and that comes to that position where that mistake is being made, and it's coming to the point where they getting ready to get hurt, that prayer that you sent out will be a buffer, that things won't turn out as bad as they were supposed to. And God said God is listening to every prayer, everything that you putting out there. God is listening. God wants you to pray and let that thing go, and let your children, your grown children, get out there and make choices and decisions for themselves. He said he got it. And I'm going to leave it right there. So with that, if this message was for you, say that this message was for this one right here was for me. I'm gonna let my grown no, say this. I'm gonna let it go and let God. I'm gonna let it go and let God. And hype it up. Like, share, subscribe. I know this shouldn't get out there, but my ops gonna love this, because I don't they gonna love this. But just know, blocked blocked ain't gonna happen. It is so be it. Ashe. All right, so with that, I'm sending you love, I'm sending you healing your way, and Trinity is